Hey there, gamers, racers, and motorsports fans. Welcome to another video here on A+ Sim Racing.
Left side.
In this episode of Praga Hotlaps, we're at Silverstone. The specific layout we're going to be doing is the historic Grand Prix from 2010. So the pits and the start-finish line is in the north part of the track between Woodcote and Copse. And the Vale chicane is much faster than it is in the Grand Prix track today. So the lap time is going to be at least a few seconds faster than the Grand Prix layout. So this is another circuit that I know reasonably well, but I've never been confident and haven't been able to put in a fast lap, quite mediocre. So I put in a fair amount of practice to try and shave my lap times down by a number of seconds. So let's get into the driver's seat of the Praga R1 and take a look at what is currently my personal best lap at Silverstone Historic Grand Prix. Here we are coming up to the start of the lap. Now, turn 1 is Copse. It's a very high speed turn, so you're going to have a gentle amount of braking for that turn sign there. Control the throttle through the turn and get back on the power when you're lined up with the exit. Careful not to run too wide. And you keep the car over to the right to open up the entry into Maggots and Beckett's. Full throttle going in, but I give a little bit of a lift before the turn. And you slowly decelerate through the turn complex here, getting back on the throttle for Chapel, and full speed down the hangar straight. So now you're going to slowly move the car over to the left to line up for the next turn. Now you're going to look for the curbs on the left, and I start braking just before and trail off into the turn in, get back on the throttle before you can see the exit curve because there's a crest of the hill there, it's a bit blind. Instead of braking for the chicane, you carry all the speed in through Vale and then brake after the turn in and modulate the throttle until you're ready to get back on the power for the exit. And for the next turn I do a little bit of a lift, turn in, downshift, and then back on the throttle. Getting ready to brake when you see the curbs on the left there. Down to second gear. Being steady on the throttle, but don't give it too much too soon. As soon as you get up to speed, you have to brake again. And if you're going to use first gear for this turn, be very careful. You can use it in second, but it'll be a little bit slower, but that's the safer alternative. You always have to be cautious when you downshift to first gear in this car through the turns. Now for the next turn, you're going to look for the curbs on the right and start braking just before that sign. Careful not to lock up the fronts. And you're going to trail brake off into the turn and then get ready for the last turn of the lap here. You want to get back on the throttle once you're able to see the exit curbs, and just be careful not to use too much throttle because it's really easy to spin out in that corner. And that brings us to the end of the lap.
That lap was a 155.7.
So that's currently my personal best at 155.7. Now let's follow the AI at level 110 with the chase cam and take a look at how they lap Silverstone Historic Grand Prix from 2010. So that lap was a 1:55.2. So that leaves me about half a second behind the AI at level 110, which is well within the limits that I like to be. Anywhere between 1 and 2 seconds is acceptable, depending on the track. This one I know fairly well, so I think being within a half a second of the AI at that level is a pretty good indication that I'll be hopefully ready for the next round of the championship I'm running with the AI in RaceRoom. So the next round will be Silverstone with this same layout, the historic Grand Prix from 2010. So I didn't notice too much difference between my lap and the AI's lap, except the AI wasn't using the entire width of the track, which maybe you don't need to with this car to maximize the cornering speed. It does have a lot of aero grip. But otherwise I think the AI was just slightly faster through the slower speed turns, and maybe I got the upper hand through Vale and Club. Otherwise I didn't see too much of a difference. Also through Maggots and Beckett's, I think the AI had a little bit more speed through that turn complex and was a little bit faster coming out of Chapel onto the Hangar Straight. But overall, I'm happy with the progress that I made in this practice session, and put a decent lap time in. But unfortunately there were only a few entries on the leaderboard for this configuration, so to really get a sense of where I stand compared to other sim racers, I went and did a few laps on the regular Grand Prix layout, and I was above average. Definitely not at the top of the leaderboard. I'm a couple seconds behind the leader. But I'm pretty sure I'm able to improve my lap time by at least another second if I really gave it a solid effort. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you're doing well. Take care, and I'll see you next time.